CBS News State Department reporter Christina Ruffini is following this story. She joins us now from Washington. Boy, this is a really interesting case because we know in those refugee camps there are women from all over the world. The president has encouraged other countries to take back their citizens.
Right.
But here we have this bit of a controversy. So let's talk about her citizenship. You know, why is it in question? She was born here in the U.S., right? It appears as if she had a U.S. passport. So what's going on?
Correct. So she was born in New Jersey, and her lawyer has produced documentation of both her birth certificate and this piece of paper that says her father was no longer a diplomat by the time she was born. Now, this is what's at dispute. There's this little known clause, and frankly, we didn't know it, and we had to look it up, that if you are the child of a diplomat serving in the U.S., you don't qualify for natural-born citizenship, right? It's like my brother, for example, was born in Germany when my dad was in the military, and he is not naturally a German citizen. He's an American citizen. It's kind of the same theory. So if you're here under a diplomatic mission and you have diplomatic immunity, your child who's born in the United States does not count automatically as a natural-born citizen. However, in this case, the family is claiming, and appears to have documentation to back it up, that that mission ended a month prior to her birth. She was born in Hackensack, New Jersey. She has what appears to be a U.S. birth certificate. And until she left, she had a U.S. passport. So the State Department at one point agreed with her and gave her a U.S. passport saying, yes, you are a U.S. citizen. Her father had to provide documentation that his mission had ended for her to get that passport at the time, and she received it. Now the State Department is saying basically just because we gave her one 20 years ago doesn't mean it was valid. She didn't have the right to have American citizenship. She's not an American citizen, and therefore we don't have to take her back.
Wow.
Wow, this is really sort of a complicated story. So if she were to come back, Christina, what kind of charges would she be facing?
She could be facing a myriad of charges, and it's interesting because she's not trying to obfuscate that. She's not trying to say, you know, I want to come back and just live with my parents and I'm very, very sorry. Her lawyer says she's willing to come back and face prosecution. And the sticking point is this is exactly what the U.S. is asking all these other countries to do. Vlad, you know this because we were working in Brussels. Belgium has a huge problem with a lot of these foreign fighters. France has a huge problem with a lot of these foreign fighters. And the U.S. has encouraged them to take back a much larger number of foreign fighters than the U.S. would be facing. However, in this case, it's more of a do what we say and not what we do, because it appears the State Department has gone to great lengths to justify why she can't come back and face prosecution, which her attorney says she's willing to do.
So, Christina, I think earlier in the week we also reported on another ISIS bride. This one was from the UK. She also wants to return to the UK. As I understand it, Britain has told her that she cannot return to the UK, and they want her to go to, I believe, Bangladesh or something like another country where she has a familial connection. But I'm wondering, is there a U.S. policy? I mean, is there sort of a set of guidelines that the U.S. follows when it comes to people who have traveled to Syria and want to return?
Not really, and that's why this case is important to watch, because it has the potential to go up to the Supreme Court, because citizenship is something that's been considered very sacred by the Supreme Court. There have been previous cases where the government has tried to strip people of their citizenship, and basically the Supreme Court has said if you're a natural-born citizen, it's virtually impossible to strip someone of their citizenship unless they willingly give it up. You can renounce your citizenship, you can pledge allegiance to another government, you can have it stripped for treason, but there's due process involved. You have to go through a military tribunal, you have to go through a court. There has to be justification and basically a paper trail for here's what you did and here's why we're taking your citizenship and here's the people who decided that. In this case, there's been none of this. There's been kind of this retroactive mechanism to go back and basically comb through the fine paper of her original citizenship and say you didn't have it to begin with. So there isn't a policy per se. This will definitely be a test case and something to watch as more of these foreign fighters and more of these ISIS brides try to find a way home.
Yeah.
Christina, always great to have you to shed some light on very complicated subjects happening abroad. We appreciate it as always.
Thanks, guys. It's nice to see you.